viewers, a very good afternoon. Welcome to our FB Live session. And today we are here to discuss a very important topic. The recent outbreak, coronavirus, which is also known as the Wuhan virus. The WHO organization says that not enough is known about 2019 novel coronavirus to draw definitive conclusions about how it is transmitted, clinical features of the disease, or the extent to which it has spread. According to WHO, a new type of coronavirus, which is in the 2019, has been identified in China, Wuhan, on 7th January 2020. The cluster of patients with a few patients were identified with pneumonia-like illness was initially reported on 31st December of 2019. So many people are now worried about this virus all over the world, and especially the China population. So dear audience, let's discuss about this coronavirus, the Wuhan virus in detail. And if at all you're having any doubts, please leave them in the comment section. We will be taking them during the live session. And today, to answer all your doubts and to clear all our doubts, we have with us Dr. P. Vishnu Rao sir, who is our infectious disease specialist at Apollo Hospitals, Jubilee Hills, Hyderabad. Welcome sir, welcome to our FB live session.
Hello, good afternoon. Yeah.
Thank you so much sir. So dear audience, if at all you have any doubts related to Wuhan virus, please leave them in the comment section. We will be taking them during the live session. So let's start our session. So what is this NCOV, the Wuhan virus?
So basically, this Wuhan virus, the NCOV, that is nothing but the novel coronavirus. It belongs to a group of viruses by name. These are the RNA viruses by name coronaviruses. Basically, these coronaviruses, we call them zoonotically transmitted diseases, meaning to say that these are predominantly in animals, and because of some reason, they spill into the human beings, or the diseases which transmit from the animals to human. We call those zoonotic virus, and this coronavirus are the group of viruses which belong to those category. So the new 2019 NCOV, that is nothing but your novel coronavirus, is a recently detected virus which was initially detected in the city of Wuhan. After which the whatever this virus has been linked to the exposure to the seafood market there. One of the though it is not yet proved. There is a speculation that because of the contact with that seafood market, there is some sort of transmission happened between the animals to the humans, and once it spread into the humans, it spread from person to person through respiratory tract or through respiratory secretions. So that's the reason for causing this a novel 2019 coronavirus. Previously, before this, in 2002, we have this SARS, epidemic, and then in 2014, we have MERS. So they also belong to the same group of family. They also belong to this coronavirus. They also, at that time, have been transmitted by cavate cat in case of SARS, and through camels, this MERS COVID has been transmitted at that particular outbreak. So, and this particular outbreak, still we do not know, but the virus looks similar to the one of those bat viruses, and now it is epidemiologically linked to the seafood market in the Wuhan, but still we do not know from where exactly it's been transmitted. But that is a speculation that since it's a zoonotic disease, it probably must have transmitted through the through that seafood market where you have a lot of animals being sold there. Yeah.
Thank you so much, sir. And there is a myth also roaming around, as you were mentioning about the seafood market.
Yeah.
People nowadays are thinking that this is because of the bat soup or the rat soup that was consumed in that Wuhan prominence there in the China, or is it because of the seafood that has been exported and imported in that market that is the cause?
Yeah. See, that's what, as I told you, still nobody know the exact cause how it has been transmitted. So as I told you, these are zoonotic viruses, meaning to say that they generally coronaviruses transmit from animals to humans, and from once one human is infected through respiratory secretions, through your cough or respiratory handling respiratory secretions, you can have spread from one patient to another. So as of now, when they looked into the virus, it closely resembled the bat coronaviruses. So probable speculation is that probably must have transmitted from bats, but still it is not yet confirmed. Still it has to be confirmed. So I cannot make any comment on that because we don't have any official announcement that this virus has been spread from this particular animal or this particular way. But it's only a speculation. So because it resembled a bad coronavirus, so probably they are thinking that, but still it's not yet complete. Still we do not know yet.
Thank you, sir. What are the symptoms and signs of infection with novel coronavirus?
Remember, this coronavirus or your prior SARS or MERS, just like your prior SARS and MERS, this novel 2019 coronavirus predominantly affects your respiratory tract. Meaning to say that they present with all the symptoms predominantly confined to the respiratory system. Meaning to say that the patient can present with your running nose, sore throat, cough, sputum, shortness of breath. And along with that, you have constitutional symptoms like fever, a lot of myalgias. Probably, in other words, the symptoms may very well mimic like your flu. That is, whenever you have an influenza, you have fever, headache, body aches, and when it involves your respiratory tract, you get running nose, sore throat, cough, sputum, shortness of breath. So the presentation is just like any other respiratory viruses, predominantly involving the respiratory tract. The very fact being that this is a new virus and we don't have an inherent some kind of immunity against that virus, and that's the cause for the involving majority of the people in the large numbers, and its transmissibility and the mortality associated with it. Yeah.
Sir, as you were mentioning about the respiratory infections,
Yes.
as now we are having a season change,
Yes.
many people are now affected with the regular cough and the cold that they are there and having the common fever.
Yes.
So many people now are very much scared, thinking, are they infected with coronavirus?
Okay.
So many of these people are nowadays having this fear of these symptoms showing up. So are there any specific symptoms saying all these grouped together symptoms like fever, body pains, all these together come up? Or is it any triggering point that one person should immediately go and check himself?
Okay. See, the first thing is, at least as of now, I mean, because though the data keep changing with R to R, India, we don't have, at least as of now, there is no coronavirus has been detected. We have few suspected cases, but we don't have any proven coronavirus. And remember, you have 1,000 other viruses which are far common than that, which commonly presents. So everybody who has a cold, cough, respiratory illness need not worry about the coronavirus because we have other common viruses like flu season. Now most places you have a flu season going. In fact, that being more common cause. So, and the problem with all the respiratory infections is that the presence are exactly similar. Most people, they present with fever, running nose, cough, sputum, shortness of breath. So the symptoms are exactly similar, and there is no way you can say whether this is a other respiratory virus or a coronavirus. But what is more important is the temporary association, the temporary presence of the patient or coming in contact with the patient, people who actually has that virus. So that makes us to think about coronavirus. Somebody who gets routine cough, cold or some respiratory tract should not be worried of coronavirus, because it's likely to be more of another respiratory virus currently we have in the community. So that's the reason we're going to suspect coronavirus infection, this novel coronavirus infection in somebody who has travel to these endemic areas like Wuhan or the places where it has been predominantly reported in the last 14 days, and some or having in contact with the person who is diagnosed with that particular disease, or we coming in contact somebody who is in close contact with someone who has this particular disease. So we're going to suspect this when somebody has a good contact history or a travel history in the last 14 days. By the way, we have to remember it has to be in the last 14 days. Somebody traveled China 6 months back and now they are in India for the last 6 months, and now they come and say that I have running nose and sore throat. Could be coronavirus? Definitely novel. Definitely no. The incubation period is in 14 days. In the last 14 days, somebody who traveled to that particular areas where you have the disease or coming in contact with those proven cases, or contacts coming in contact with the contacts of those proven cases with respiratory symptoms, then only we going to think of this novel coronavirus. So someone at least at this particular point, somebody who gets cold and cough or some kind of respiratory illness, please don't get panic. They are less likely to be coronavirus, and you have many other viruses like your flu, which is far more common. Rather suggest many people to take flu shots rather than worry about this virus. At least it is not at this point not in our country. Yeah.
Thank you so much, sir. And so, dear audience, as sir was mentioning, 14 days of incubation period is there for the virus to spread. So if at all you have been in contact with any people who have returned from China, or if you have been to China, or if you suspect that somebody else was having the same respiratory illness and you were in contact with them, so then only you need to suspect yourself for being affected with this virus. Thank you so much, sir. And sir, what is the course of this illness? Because day to day the numbers are increasing.
Yeah.
And we came to know that Japan, Thailand and USA countries also have been detected with these viruses. So the spread is increasing. So
Yeah.
what is the threat?
Yeah, so basically, the mortality rate this with virus is 4%, meaning to say that till yesterday, at least till yesterday data, there are approximately 4,500 people got infected, and out of it, around 107 people, their deaths. So the mortality is around 4%. Actually, when it compared to the SARS-CoV virus, which is around 10%, and MERS-CoV virus, it was around 37%. And at least this is not as virulent as the prior viruses, at least as of now. And the virus and the mortality is predominantly more in somebody who have comorbidities, meaning to say that somebody who is old, somebody who has a chronic lung disease or a heart disease, or somebody who's an immunosuppression, pregnancy, somebody with comorbidities are actually having a severe disease. And the threat, in the sense, currently there's a lot of cases or outbreak is going on, but at least as of now it's not in India. So we have to we have to take appropriate preventive measures in order to contain this virus. Yeah.
Thank you so much, sir. So what is the criteria for evaluation of patients under investigation?
So the criteria, in the sense, somebody, as I told you, everything is based on the travel history or the person coming in contact with the proven case or contact of a proven case. So these are the patients only at this time we have to consider testing for novel coronavirus, not for everybody. As I already told you, somebody with the incubation period of 14 days, somebody who has traveled to China or coming in contact with a proven case or coming in contact with a contact of the proven case, and the incubation, and within the last 14 days, and then somebody developing a respiratory symptoms in the form of cough, shortness of breath, or a fever and a respiratory syndrome. These are the patients whom we should isolate them and test appropriately for the SARS-CoV virus. And whenever we suspect this virus, as I told you, it's not only this virus, there are other common viruses or the bacteria which cause pneumonia. So before thinking of this, we should rule out the common diseases. Common things are always common. At least as of now, coronavirus is not common for us. So we need to look for the bacterial causes or other viral causes like flu. And along with that, you have to test for this particular virus in the above mentioned criteria, as I told you. Yeah.
Sir, as you were mentioning about the diagnosis, so is there any defined treatment for the complete cure of this virus if at all anybody is affected?
Yeah, at least as of now, we don't have a vaccine and we don't have any treatment for this. It's predominantly we going to give what is called as supportive care, meaning to say that somebody who has developed a pneumonia or somebody who is requiring oxygen, they get dehydrated, they'll be on IV fluids, they'll be on oxygen, and if the infection is severe enough, they'll be on mechanically ventilated, they'll be on ventilator. So what predominantly we are giving is a supportive care. As of now, we don't have a very good antiviral drug currently available. There are one or two drugs which has some sort of activity in vitro. There's some drug called as lopinavir, ritonavir, but still we don't know how much it is going to help. So as of now, the dictum is that it's the prevention that is better than cure, and once somebody has a disease, we don't have a proven very good antiviral drug to counter it. So it's basically the preventive measures. So we should concentrate more on the preventive aspects rather than thinking of the treatment aspect, because we do not have any treatment as of now.
So what will be the travel advisory, the general preventive measures to be practiced while traveling in or from China?
Yeah. So first of all, when somebody is planning to China at this point, try to postpone your travel at least at this point, because unless it is mandatory, try to postpone the travel. This is what my first suggestion is. And if it's a mandatory travel, all the respiratory precautions, that is, try to avoid coming in contact with some with sick persons, and at least maintain 3 feet distance. Try to maintain a distance of at least 3 feet with somebody who has some kind of respiratory illness, because the respiratory virus is predominantly, most of the respiratory virus, they spread by something called as droplet mode of transmission, meaning to say that when the patient coughs, it presents in something called as droplets, and they fall within 3 feet. So the most important thing is to keep at least a distance of 3 feet away from somebody who has respiratory illness. Number 2, and number 3 is a very good hand hygiene. the modes of spread is, one is the respiratory route and other one is coming in contact with the respiratory secretions on the surfaces. For example, you have a patient who has this particular virus and they cough, and whatever the crop droplets have fallen on the surface, and you touch the surface and then you keep it, you rub your nose or eyes with your hand, then also you can get it. So the most important thing is a very good hand hygiene. A very good hand hygiene, meaning to say that whenever you try to come in contact with a sick person, always do a hand hygiene, that is wash your hands with soap and water for 20 seconds and with the alcohol drop if you have available it, if it's available with you. And whenever, if you have fall sick or you have respiratory infections, try to stay at home, and whenever you have cough, always cover your nose and mouth with a tissue paper. And then discard the tissue paper. So it's if you're sick, stay at home, and if you're traveling, try to maintain at least 3 feet distance from someone who has a respiratory tract infection. And whenever you come in contact with any patient, any of the patients who have respiratory infection, have a very good hand hygiene. And the other one is wearing masks. So if you are coming in contact with somebody who has respiratory infection, the simple face mask is all that is required. Yeah.
Thank you so much, sir. And so, dear audience, as sir was saying, avoid hand contact. So, our Indian tradition, Namaste, works.
Yes.
So, let's greet everybody with Namaste instead of shaking hands. I think that is the best preventive measure, sir. Because the flu season is also on rise. So, please do take care. Sir, as you were mentioning, people traveling from China, the 14 days period they need to be taking in. So, as you were mentioning, there is no vaccination.
Yes.
And you did said even taking a flu shot might be helpful in preventing the initial symptoms of this virus. So apart from these, does food, because many people nowadays in the WhatsApp groups, everybody is saying, don't eat meat, don't eat fish, all the non-vegetarians, just eat the vegetables and the fruits. Is that true? Is the myth true?
I don't think. First, there are two things here. Taking a flu shot is suggestible for everybody. Flu shot will help you in preventing from influenza virus, and it has no cross protection for coronavirus. But there are a lot of myths going on. I definitely agree. So my suggestion is that I don't think you should stop eating your non-vegetarian at home. The simple dictum is that have clean food and water. That is, whatever which is properly cooked non-veg, you can have it. I don't think you don't have any documented transmission in India because with your chicken or mutton or whatever it is. But it's a myth, definitely a myth. You can happily have your non-vegetarian, but just like any other cases, we always advise them to eat the non-veg or the eggs or which are properly cooked. Even though if there is any sort of virus there, with proper cooking or boiling, the virus dies. It has nothing to do with the coronavirus in our aspect, but it's something which is properly cooked food or cooked non-veg is all fine. I don't think you should restrain from any kind of non-veg. I think definitely it's a myth. Yeah, I today myself had non-veg and came, so I don't think it's a. The only thing is it should be properly cooked. Yeah.
Thank you so much, sir. And sir, we have few questions from an audience saying,
yes, please.
The goods that are transmitted from China, can we be using them?
The most important thing is that this is a respiratory virus, and predominant mode of spread is through the contact with the respiratory secretions. But whenever somebody goods traveling from that long, I don't think it should be a problem. It should not be able to transmit it. Yeah.
And so we have one more question saying, even Thailand has been detected with the case. So one person is sharing an information, sorry, not a question, saying please even avoid Bangkok and Thailand tours. So is that true, sir?
Yes, see, the whole point here is that now day by day the number of cases are increasing. So for example, within a day or two, the number of cases in all these, Southeast Asian countries are increasing. So probably if not an emergency travel, probably it's always, suggestible to avoid travel to these particular endemic areas till we know the picture is more clear. So if I have, like today, one of my friend has called and said that, he's planning to travel in the next, 2 weeks or so to Southeast Asian countries. I said that probably this is not the correct time. If it's not an emergency, probably I would postpone, because day by day many cases are being detectable and still we don't know the extent. So my suggestion is that try to, if it is not an emergency thing, try to postpone till we get more clear picture, especially in these endemic areas, number one. Number two, if you happen to travel, please follow all the respiratory precautions or the precautions or the preventive measures like a very good hand hygiene, wearing masks, and try to maintain a distance of 3 feet from somebody who has respiratory infections, and a very good hand hygiene. This is what we suggest. Yeah.
Thank you so much, sir. And dear audience, We hope we have cleared all your doubts, and if at all you're having any other doubts, please leave them in the comment section. We'll get back to you. And there is an interesting article more in detail on our website. You can even check the article also on coronavirus. And if at all you want to get in touch with Dr. P. Vishnu Rao sir, we have given the link in the text box, so you can directly connect with the sir and you can book even online consultation as well. Thank you so much for tuning in, and thank you so much, doctor.
Thank you.
For sharing your valuable information and sharing us details about this coronavirus, the latest outbreak in the world. Thank you so much, dear audience.